Council, good evening.
Good evening.
Joe Pilchesky, 819 Sunset Street, Scranton. I apologize for not appearing last week after indicating that I'd be here, but as I was preparing my presentation, I received a call from a fellow named John who had an emergency situation that needed some legal attention, which was that his home of 30 years was being sold the next day at the Lackawanna County tax sale. Needless to say, panic was the word of the day for John, and there wasn't a lot of time to determine whether or not I might be able to help John. At any rate, I couldn't fully review all of John's facts and be here at the same time. I'd like to share with you some of the elements of this situation that I experienced with John, since they are insightful and they may assist you and the viewing public in understanding part of the process involved where the Tax Claim Bureau desires to sell your property to recover past due tax obligations. On January 3rd of this year, the Tax Claim Bureau filed about 200 petitions in county court seeking the court's permission to sell the subject properties. On the cover of every petition was a schedule that advised the responding party that an answer to the petition must be filed by February 10th of 2011, and that a hearing on the issue would be held on February 10th in front of Judge Moyle related to the relief demanded in the petition, which was to sell your property. John went to the Tax Bureau when he received this petition. He talked to Mr. Pilchesky, who properly told him that it was a legal matter now and he needed a lawyer. So John went to his lawyer, who was already legal counsel in another matter for John, but his lawyer wasn't in. So his lawyer called the next day. John talked at length with him, and at the end of the phone call, John was of the opinion that the lawyer was covering John's back. That wasn't true. John's lawyer did contact the Tax Claim Bureau and did talk to Mr. Pilchesky, but the call didn't result in negotiating a successful closure to the tax problem that John had. John didn't know that. The lawyer didn't tell John that he's not filing an answer on John's behalf to the petition, and they didn't tell John that he's not going to be showing up on February 10th at the hearing in front of Judge Moyle. So, on February 10th, when no one appeared on behalf of John, Judge Moyle issued an order directing the Tax Bureau to sell John's property. There are two problems with the order that Judge Moyle issued. The first problem is that in the first sentence, it indicates that she was satisfied that John was properly served with the petition. And there's such a thing as proper service. Not anybody can just hand you the petition. Yet there's no proof in the record anywhere that John was ever served properly with the petition. Secondly, there is no proof in the file that John was served with a copy of the order that Judge Moyle issued that directed the Tax Bureau to sell this property. And those are the types of documents that would always be in an order, because that's how you can prove that you've communicated properly to someone and they got notice. In circumstances like that, you have an issue of being deprived of your rights to due process. Here, intentionally or otherwise, an attorney, the Tax Claim Bureau for the attorney, or the lawyer for the Tax Claim Bureau, and the court itself kept John in the dark. Had someone not appeared at John's home the day before the sale offering to buy it in advance of the tax sale, John's property would have been sold the next day without John knowing what was going on. Once that happens, it's a whole world of legal expense and trouble to undo that, if it can be done at all. I prepared for John a petition for emergency injunctive relief in the nature of a stay of the tax sale, citing a violation of John's due process rights, because he has certainly had a right to file an answer to the petition and be at the hearing, and of course he thought his lawyer was doing that, and that didn't happen. After 10 minutes of explaining the circumstances to Judge Corbett, who was very, very sensitive to John's plight and very, very helpful to him, the sale was stayed. But the lesson to be learned here is this: when it comes to covering your own back in very important matters, everybody should participate in that event. When served with any legal document, there's a docket number on the cover. Your entire file is stored at the Proprietary's office located at North Washington and Spruce Street. It greatly benefits you to check your file once a week. See what's in there. You might be surprised at what you find. Had John done that, he wouldn't have come so close to losing his home. And that's just some advice for those out there who might be overly trusting of the legal system and their attorney. Thank you.
Thank you.